to the second part of What If UA High was in the Marvel Universe. Last time we talked about the possibility of the school being created in the aftermath of Civil War. We also talked about some original backstories for characters like Eraserhead, Uraraka, Tenya Ida, and even Bakugo. If you missed any of that, click on the link on the top right to watch part 1. Now, before we get into it, I want to remind you to please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, there's a link down in the description, and with that being said, let's do this. So last time we started by focusing on one of the teachers at UA's backstory. Today, I want to do the same. I want to get started with talking about Present Mike, or however you say it. As a child, Present Mike had hearing problems. He was almost completely deaf. His parents even started to teach him sign language as a way to communicate due to his lack of ability to hear well. Surgery after surgery, everyone hoped that his hearing would get better, but it never did. It only got worse. Present Mike's parents got desperate. They found some experimental testing outside of America. They spent the last of their savings to get this treatment for their son. After the treatment, they noticed Present Mike's hearing started to improve. It got better and better. They realized something was different. Though his verbal communication was getting better, it was getting louder. Way too loud. As a child, he could scream and break glass windows. As Present Mike grew up, he started using this power to become a vigilante known as Present Mike, a rocking hero with an attitude. He certainly wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty as he fought villains like the Vulture, the Abomination, and even Red Skull. After Civil War, Present Mike was asked to join UA to teach young minds what it means to be heroes. Present Mike had no problem agreeing. He wanted to be a mentor that he so desperately needed when he first started exhibiting powers as a child. Now for our first student, I want to dive into Mineta. This character is one of the goofier characters in the whole series. Almost everything he does is chalked up for comedy relief, so I feel like his backstory should be goofy, funny, and over the top. So for Mineta, I see him being an ordinary kid. Every day he went to school, he brought a normal lunch with him. Sometimes his mom would pack a bologna sandwich or a Lunchable. One day, his mom had happened to have packed him a jelly sandwich. I don't know why. There was no peanut butter on it. It was simply a jelly sandwich. On that particular day, a bully stole his food. The bully tampered with it, and then he just gave it back to him. And without Mineta knowing what the bully did, he took the sandwich out, and he went to go and take a bite. All of a sudden, that sandwich had clamped onto his hand. Mineta had been bitten by a radioactive jelly sandwich. From that moment on, Mineta began to experience a power where his hair had turned into sticky balls, and that he could remove that and stick to other people. Next is Ashido. Her origins is super simple. She's an alien from space. She was the last of her kind, similar to Superman's story. But for Ashido, her whole race was wiped out by a war between different alien races. Captain Marvel found her spaceship traveling aimlessly through space. She had compassion for the child and brought her to Earth. Now she fits in just fine amongst all the other superhero students at UA High. For our next student, I want to cover Sato, the student who eats sweets to get jacked up. Seriously, this guy's body basically turns sugar into a steroid. So for his origin story, I like the idea that he was trained to be a pro wrestler. But as time went on, he always struggled through his matches. Sato had great form, great technique, but unfortunately, he was simply just too weak. Sato then did the unthinkable. He turned to steroids. But before he could become a hardcore user, he had an allergic reaction where he would always turn sugar into pure muscle power. Sato began to win match after match until his secret was found out and he was kicked out of his division. Sato needed to figure out what is he going to do next. And after a lot of soul searching, Sato joined UA to become the next hero. Kota is going to be our next student that I want to talk about. His origin is quite simple actually. He was raised in the wild. Therefore, similar to the Jungle Book, he learned to talk to animals. He has begun to utilize that ability to save others. His biggest flaw is since not being around many humans, he is super quiet and quite awkward. He's joined UA to kind of, master the skill of connecting with others. Also to learn how to use this power of talking to animals in a more heroic way. Now I want to move on to Asui. Her origin is quite different.
In fact, she is actually a genetically enhanced clone of the mutant Toad. A company took his DNA and then they mixed it with that of a tree frog and made it into a girl's body. Asui was raised in a lab being tested on. She was created to be a lab rat. They wanted to learn all they could about mutants. She was poked. She was prodded. She was never given a real life to enjoy. That was until the Fantastic Four found their way into this illegal operation and busted it. They took all the experiments to their lab, and they kept a close eye on them. They tried as hard as they could to try to keep these specimens alive, but unfortunately, due to different conditions, the only one that truly did survive or last was Asui herself.
She stuck around in the Fantastic Four's lab until UA actually opened. Then, the Fantastic Four actually enrolled her into the school. They thought this would be a great environment for her to find purpose and to find meaning for herself. For our last student, I want to talk about Tokoyami. I see him being a mutant as well, but has a deep connection with Doctor Strange. I don't know how it is in the comics, but in the MCU, we learn that Doctor Strange is kind of this guardian of sorts in New York City. I like the idea that Tokoyami has been hand-selected by Doctor Strange to become his successor. He had been looking for a successor for a while. His mystical arts revealed that Tokoyami was the best candidate. And in order to take up that mantle, Tokoyami has to do his dues at UA before Doctor Strange can really teach him everything that he wants him to. So there you have it. This is part 2 of What If UA was in the Marvel Universe. What characters do you want me to do next time? Leave your ideas in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. We will see you guys next time.